Hey, welcome to FinSights. It is basically my final project for the prompt engineering class where I and Aditi Yadav have contributed towards this project. It is basically a project which tries to mimic a trading mindset that a particular investor or a retail trader might have. There might be a bunch of information which could be numeric, like stock prices, and there could be information coming in forms of news and financial documents. The idea is to figure out a middle ground on how FinSights can generate trading recommendation for these things. Uh, Here is the GitHub repo, and we have a detailed repo which contains fine tuning the different data sets that we have used, some documentation, a, a .environment.template file for your APIs. You particularly would need two APIs, which is basically the Alpaca API and the Benzinga API to get started. And basically, we have done some analysis on how effective these trading decisions are. At the end, we have also added Aditi and my LinkedIn profile in case you want to get connected and discuss more on this project. Now, let's move into the project and figure out how it looks in real time. So, I have just cloned the repo and opened it on my VS Code local. What I'll simply do is for this particular demonstration, I'll run the application. So the entire code is in the FinSights library. Apart from that, there are multiple uh, code snippets in the utils library that we use. So let me just get this running. Awesome. As you can see that FinSights is now loading. It might take a couple of minutes. Okay. On the left hand side is basically the input parameters that we can use, starting with the stock name. The moment we type in the stock name, the stock symbol, the company information, sector information automatically gets pre-populated. For the demonstration purposes, we'll be going with the Nvidia stock, but there are several other stocks that we can access using the APIs, which includes Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, and I mean with the paid versions that we have access to a lot many more stocks. We'll be setting on today's analysis date. We'll figure the news duration parameter helps us to fetch all the latest news from the last XYZ days, and the price duration parameter helps us to look into the last 5 or last week's trading days. Again, you can play around with these numbers based on the idea that you have. What we also have is basically a smart query. The smart query acts as a query to fetch all the most relevant user bases. You can again click on generate smart query, and a language model in the background based on the company information and the sector information will try to generate this particular query, which you can use for retrieving great or the most similar and recent search documents. As you can see, the current stock is Nvidia, so it generates different kind of keywords which would be helpful for us to fetch relevant news. It includes GPUs, accelerated computing, AI, and other more. You can play around with the number of top responses that you want to receive back. So this is basically a retrieval process that is working in the background where it fetches all the relevant latest news. So you can see that there is a industry comparison report, there is a Unity software report by Benzinga. So these are there is a Nvidia and AMD stock report. Now what we try to do is we also try to get the latest price, and again we try to fetch the price for the last 7 days. As there are only 5 trading days, we get the price for the last 5 days, and then we try to run the analysis. The essential thing about running an analysis is it tries to generate summaries for each of these particular news that we had just witnessed, right? Then for each news, it takes into account and generates a overall summary which tries to identify the current market sentiment. So this was, so we can see that the first news article has been summarized. It is probably regarding the company portfolio, company earnings report. So you can see the various PE multiples, PB multiple, price to sales, and different multiples that are being displayed. We all know that among the magnificent seven companies, Nvidia was the top performer and we have seen massive run-ups. So these are the different summaries that for each of the news articles that were fetched. Again, these are all input parameters and these all can be played around with. Now, the FinSights sits on the top of a language model called Llama 3, which tries to perform these tasks, including generating smart queries, uh, summarizing news, getting an overall summary. Right, it highlights the positive factors that are happening over the last 3 days in the news durations, and based on a search query, along with the negative factors and the overall sentiment. And then it also provides you with a trading recommendation and a confidence level accordingly. So the trading decision that the FinSights gives us right now is buy recommendation, and we see that growth and return on equity are driving these things, and it particularly highlights a reasoning rationale as well. What we have tried to do in our fine tuning model is basically try to generate such trading rationals in the past, and then particularly see which of the rationals were generating positive outcomes, filter out only those trading rationals, and then try to fine tune a Llama 3.1 model on those particular trading examples in the hope that it tries to learn from the historic events that have happened. So this is what is powering FinSights. There are a bunch of different things like direct preference optimization that we want to try out next, and many more use cases like memory modules where we even fetch some more economic data and put it in a RAG application. So this is basically a gist of it. Hope you liked the demo. Thank you.